Hello. There's no need to adjust your television sets. I am in control of this transmission. And for the next however long this goes on, I will be in control of what you hear and what you see. Again, there is no need to adjust. What the? Whoa! Oh, I hate when that happens. Anyway, today we got Evil Dead the concert. We got The Substance, the new Demi Moore film. We got Maniac, the original soundtrack and the remake soundtrack reviews. And, we got a whole bunch of other stuff. So listen, I want to see your Halloween outfits. I want to see your haunts. If you got stuff out on your lawn, send all of that stuff to frombeyondthelakehorrorpodcast@gmail.com. And I'm going to put it up because I want to share it. I want everyone to enjoy all your efforts, okay? So, damn, that's a good bottle of Yoo-Hoo. Drink up. Movie review time, kiddies. Today's movie is The Substance. What's The Substance about? Well, let me tell you who's in it first. You got Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid, okay? This came out in 2024, I think. Oh, 2025. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, let me read the back to you so you know what you're getting into. And by the way, this isn't going to be everybody's cup of tea. In fact, it's probably going to be not many's cup of tea because it's really body horror, tons. Well, we'll get into it later. Anyway, let me read this. Demi Moore gives a career best performance as Elizabeth Sparkle. Elizabeth Sparkle. Okay. Anyway, a former A-lister past her prime and suddenly fired from her fitness TV show by the repellent studio head Harvey, played by Dennis Quaid. She is then drawn to the opportunity presented by a mysterious new drug. Can you guess what it's called? The Substance. Yeah, that's right. Man, you guys are good. She will be reborn temporarily as the gorgeous 20-something Sue, played by Margaret Qualley. The one rule? Time needs to be split. Exactly 1 week in one body, then 1 week in another without any exceptions. A perfect balance. What could go wrong? It says here that this is a deliriously entertaining and ruthlessly satirical film which turns toxic beauty culture inside out with a be careful what you wish for fable for the ages. It's explosive, it's provocative, and it's twisted. Well, let's give it a review, shall we? Alright, so let's start with body horror. What the hell is that? Some of you might be asking. Well, I think Quartermass Experiment in the 50s was the first body horror movie that dealt with the transformation of a crew coming back from space. It was sci-fi. Body horror is most recognized when David Cronenberg comes up. His movies from the 70s really focused on body transformations, alterations, mutations. Over a short or long period of time, the body breaking down before you can see all the physicality of the rot, the decay, the transformation. It's very shocking. So that's what body horror is, and that's kind of who it's associated with. This is a body horror film. And it's not going to be for a lot of people. Like, it's not a commercial. I can't believe how well it did. I think it did as well as it did because of Demi Moore. It was her return to the screen. It was like her John Travolta in Pulp Fiction moment. She was awesome in it, by the way. The entire cast was awesome. Dennis Quaid was awesome. But I'm putting the cart before the horse. So the film's like about vanity, really. It's like, none of us want to get old or fat or overweight or start losing our marbles or any of that stuff. It's understandable. It gets all of us, some sooner than others, and some don't even have to be old to get there. Anyway, Demi Moore plays this kind of like 1980s Jane Fonda workout video woman in a TV show, right? It's supposed to be hot, sexy, getting sweaty, seeing like all these bodies working out fit. Well, age is catching up with her. And Dennis Quaid, who plays her, the television studio head boss, is fantastic. He's slimy. He's just a dirtbag, right? He's looking for someone younger. And he gives Demi Moore the boot, which leads her to something called the substance. Now, the substance has the ability to bring out, let's just say, the best of who you are. That's in physical appearance, in health, across the board, everything. And she decides, what the hell? What's she got to lose? I mean, she's getting older. There's no turning back. Time goes one way, but maybe not so much with the substance. So let's give it a shot. So in doing so, she creates a new her. But that new her doesn't really want to go back into the old her. This is how the substance works. It's like a timeshare, right? So one week it's Demi Moore, and then the next week it's Margaret Qualley. They have to switch every 7 days, because if they don't, with each passing day, the original body starts feeling the effects of the new body not going back, because they say it in the movie several times. It's like, you're not two people, you're really one person. The new girl, the younger version of Demi Moore, she wants to kind of stay where she's at and screw Demi Moore, who's naked in a hidden room in the bathroom waiting for Margaret Qualley to return. Anyway, there's a lot of nudity in this movie. It's a good movie. It's very beautifully directed. Cinematography's great. The cast is fantastic. It's got a nice build-up, like with a lot of body horror, like Cronenberg. Slow burns. Some people can't do slow burns. I like slow burns, but there's got to be a payoff at the end. Some slow burns, you get all the way to the end and you're like, what the is that? That's the ending? Jesus Christ, what a waste of 2 hours. But not in this sense. It's a slow burn that builds and builds, and there's this cacophony. It's beautiful. It's grotesque. It's horrific. It's very shocking, especially to those who aren't, really horror movie or body horror, fanatics, and they want to see it because of Demi Moore. Holy shit, you're going to get knocked on your ass. Anyway, this is no way at all good for kids. It's just not. The amount of nudity, the adult elements, it's a great ride if you like something weird, okay? But it's not going to be for everybody. Just keep that in mind. Cast was amazing. The director was amazing. The soundtrack was great too. Like, every aspect of this film was great. Very well paced. There's a very big payoff at the end. I really enjoyed it. I would say check it out. But just keep in mind, because I say check it out, might not be your cup of tea. So just do a little research before going in. So, on Saturday, October 11th, I had the delightful pleasure of seeing Evil Dead in concert. Oh, hey, look, October 31st, First Avenue's annual Halloween party. That is pisser. I highly recommend First Ave's Halloween party on October 31st in downtown Minneapolis. It's kind of a pain in the ass when you have to park downtown, but it's worth it. Oh yeah. Evil Dead in concert on October 11th, which is a Saturday, okay? So what is Evil Dead in concert? First off, it was at the Fitzgerald Theater in St. Paul. The seats there are god-awful. I got a bony ass, and it was killing me the whole entire time. The next dudes I was with sat next to me. They're big dudes. I'm a little guy. I'm not like, G.I. Joe action figure size or anything with the Kung Fu grip. But I couldn't fit in the goddamn thing. And it's hard as hell. Very uncomfortable. But anyway, the movie is awesome. You guys probably already seen Evil Dead, right? Evil Dead in concert is the movie's playing on in the background. And then there's several instruments, violins, stand-up bass, percussions. There's a cello, maybe a viola, I'm not really sure, but there's a lot of string instruments and percussion. And they're playing the soundtrack music to the movie. And it's very powerful. It's so loud, and you can feel it come at you. You can feel it in your bones, that little tingle that goes up your spine, hairs stand up at the back of your neck. It's awesome. It's really good. And they did a good job of updating it. It sounds very clean, but you know, that score by Joseph LaDuca was very unique. I don't know, just a lot of different elements that you don't get in a lot of soundtrack music. But usually like a remastered, cleaned up version, I don't like as much because nothing's better than the original. But man, this ensemble did a wonderful job with the music. It sounded awesome. The bass player was the one that announced the stand-up bass player. They're not up there, you know, like Les Claypool or anything. But she was amazing. She did a great job. She came in. She was kind of the host of the thing. And she was a standout amongst them. There was also one violinist that was also a standout. I highly recommend it. You like The Evil Dead and you like music, or if you just like The Evil Dead, go see it. Support these guys. It's awesome. Like a bunch of music nerds that are into The Evil Dead, you gotta support that. I'm a music nerd. You support me. Give me some money. Just kidding. But anyway, it's really good. Go check it out. It's a little pricey, but it's worth it. I mean, what the hell? How often are you gonna see this? Just go do it. Make it so. So this music review is for Jay Chattaway's 1980-1981 soundtrack for MANIAC. And let's look at the artwork here, shall we? This isn't the original, but it's still pretty, right? Looking good. It's the cover of the movie. You got some of that going on, which if you've seen the movie, you know what that is. It's not a real person, so don't get freaked out or anything. So anyway, due to the fact that the copyright gods have already visited from the heavens, I can't play anything from this. Or going forward, which kind of sucks. Because the last thing I want to do is compare one band or artist or soundtrack to another. I always thought that was kind of horseshit. I didn't think it was always fair. And sometimes your perspective on how a artist sounds or their work sounds doesn't really, it's not meshing well with somebody else's idea and they think you're nuts. But we got to do what we got to do. So MANIAC from Jay Chattaway back in 1980, 1981, this bad boy came out. And it's got a lot of variety to it. And like I said in the first review that I ever did on the soundtracks not that long ago, is that I love when a soundtrack can stand on its own 2 feet outside of the movie. You can listen to it and enjoy it. You can't do that with all soundtracks. But the best part is when those soundtracks not only can stand on their own 2 feet, but make a movie better, add to it, you know, make this cohesive, beautiful, wonderful thing that you can enjoy, and it enhances all the scenes, and it's a great thing. But with this soundtrack, there's a lot of variety, okay? So there's dialogue from the movie inside, there's like some flutes going on, xylophones, like a little ding, 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 pulsating synthesizers. It's got some stingers and stabs in there, and if you don't know what that means, it's like with Halloween, like you're listening to John Carpenter's Halloween soundtrack, and you hear a pew or a bow, you know, they just come out of nowhere. They last like 2 seconds. Stingers and stabs. It's got some of that, and they, you know, they add to the music, and they're not distracting. Not too bad. They're good. There's some catchy stuff. There's some, like, you know, nice background music to chill to. Some songs sound slightly dated, and you know what I mean by that is like when you listen to a soundtrack from a certain era, like the 60s or the 70s or the 80s, they definitely have their own sound. Of course, they're all different because they're different artists, but because it's the same time and they're drawing from some of the same technology and instruments, some of them have a similar kind of sound to them. This sounds very 80s, and I enjoyed it, and it's great. It's not very melodic, but it's great to have on in the background, and it's worth a check out. Now, for this next soundtrack, I can't say it's better or worse than Jay Chattaway's 1980-1981 soundtrack for MANIAC, but this one is much different. It's very synthy. Synth in particular, okay? So there's not a lot of variety. It's more variations on a theme, and by that I mean you take one particular element and it kind of plays throughout the entire album, okay? But this is one of my favorites. This came out in 2013, put out by the artist named Rob, and it was put out on Death Waltz recordings. This is pure synth, and it's beautiful synth. I love this. It's got a very nice, chill background sound, but it's got kind of a, it's not like an ambient droning. It's just like a nice kind of, it sounds more like positive. It doesn't sound like a negative, creepy soundtrack. It's kind of like soothe you to sleep kind of deal. But I love this album. So let's take a look at it. Ugh. Look at that! Holy Christ! There we go. Look at that. A lot of mannequin faces, because if you've seen the movie, you'll know why. So there's some writing on there. You know, who cares about the writing right now? This is a 1 LP soundtrack. Looks like this. Oh shoot, this is the picture disc. Oh me, oh my, I didn't know I had this. I got 2 copies of this. I pulled out the picture disc that I didn't even know I had. But look at that beautiful art. Holy cats. Whoa. Beautiful. Sounds beautiful. Sounds great. I wish I could play some for you, but you know, copyrights and all. I say check it out. Through and through, it's very consistent. Not much variety. It's variations on a theme, so you're going to get a lot of the same song. And if you're not a music person, you're like, this whole thing sounds exactly the same. But if you are a music person, you can tell it's not all the same. There's a lot of differences along the way. But overall, it's very consistently good, and that's what makes it or breaks it, right? It's awesome in the movie, and it's awesome on its own 2 feet. So I say check out Rob's soundtrack to 2013's Maniac, because it's the bee's knees. All right, so welcome. We are at Black Coffin Tattoo Shop in St. Paul, and I'm with Garrett. Garrett, introduce yourself to the crowd.
Hi, my name's Garrett. I've been tattooing for 25 years. I've been a collector of the strange and unusual for probably longer than that as well. I work in a lot of different mediums and art forms, such as tattooing, airbrushing, oil painting, charcoal, graphite, a little bit of everything. A Renaissance man, master of 0 trades. But wait, how does that go? A jack of all trades, master of none. I opened this shop in 2015. You know, at the time, I didn't want to be an owner. I sold my stake in the other shop, and I just wanted to focus on my art. But I found a really cool location here, right in the middle of Minneapolis, St. Paul. You know, St. Paul and Minneapolis people are a little weird. In Minneapolis, people don't go to St. Paul. St. Paul don't go to Minneapolis, and we're right in the middle.
So you got a ton of horrific items here that are really cool. It's like a museum here. So what got you into horror?
You know, I don't know. I've always been into the dark and gloomy.
Was there anything that sparked it? Like when you were a kid, you saw one movie or you saw a book cover? Because in the 80s, we had like those zebra publications.
Yeah.
Which had the coolest book covers.
You know, honestly, you know, living up north, we would go to the mall, which was about an hour away, once in a month. And my favorite thing was going to the video store and looking at all those VHS jackets.
The box art.
Yeah.
Now it's all floating heads.
Yeah, and you just, you can't, I guess if you didn't grow up in that era, you know, just looking at that stuff, we couldn't rent them because, you know, it was an hour away, so I would just go in there and look at the new artwork, and that's something I think that is lost. You know, now everything's digital. Same with, you know,
AI.
Yeah, and music, and like you don't even know the song names anymore. It was the track numbers. You know, I miss the days of grabbing that cassette tape and, you know, peeling it open and that smell. You know,
yeah.
But then you would know the tracks because you had to listen to all of them. There was no skip.
Well, same with LPs. Like you were saying, like VHS box art, lost art of. But LP art was awesome. Yeah. I still remember I saw a Molly Hatchet album, like, oh my God, this is going to be the greatest band ever. I bought it, I'm like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
But I found Grim Reaper by just that See You in Hell album.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, dude, this I actually like.
It was the thing, you know, album art sold album art sold records.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, like you said, Molly Hatchet looks like a great.
Yeah.
But then, you know, let's take Iron Maiden, for example. I mean, you know, classic Eddie. I mean, you know, so it does work. It does work.
That was Derek Briggs, right?
Yep.
Love his artwork. Just artwork in general just sucked you into your hook.
I think it was the artwork.
I know you said the VHS tapes and stuff, but...
I honestly, I think it was the artwork. You know, I've never really thought about it. So it's an interesting question that you bring up. It kind of pulls me back wondering where the hell all this came from. You know, my mom used to tell me scary stories at night and stuff, and it was just kind of this thing. You know, my family loves to scare the shit out of each other. You know, it's just this ongoing prank all the time. You know, we're trying to see who can get one over. So,
but see, you're a nice guy. I'm just a jerk kid, so my thing was like jumping out and scaring the hell out of giving someone a heart attack. But my mom also got me into horror too, because she got those zebra publications from like Kmart or whatever when you could get all that stuff. And I just got sucked in by the
you know, I remember grabbing the Fangoria magazines, and Starlog. You know, those that was a big thing. You know, if I was good, I'd get one of those.
Actually, Fangoria spawned from Starlog, I think.
I believe so.
And then Gorezone spawned from Fangoria. And Gorezone was awesome.
And magazines these days, I don't know. I went to Barnes and Noble or something. You know, the price of a magazine. It's but I'm glad they're still around. You know?
Oh, I'm glad they're still around too.
Rue Morgue, you know, was another very good one, you know, which a lot of people probably listening don't know this, but they used to have Rue Morgue Radio.
I love that.
Weekly,
with Toon Dragoneer.
And that turned me on to a bunch of horror music as well. So yeah, I guess it's just all kind of connected.
So horror music, what are your go-tos?
That's a fun
like question. Horror punk. Like a lot of people don't like horror punk. I mean, there's metal's usually associated with horror.
You know, the horror punk. In fact, I think you turned me on to Blitzkid probably about 15 years ago. You know, at the time I was listening to like Murder Dolls and Wednesday 13, and of course Misfits is always a thing. You know, Blitzkid is one of my top favorites. You know, there's Evelyn's Casket around now. Younger.
I just saw you at that show. That was an awesome show.
But not only that, now I've been getting turned on to this other stuff. It's called like Murderful. You know?
Oh yeah, I know.
Amigo the Devil. And
I like Amigo the Devil. You turned me on to Amigo the Devil.
He's fun, you know. Trying to think of some of the other ones. Murder by Death is another fun one. But even going back to Rocky Erickson,
I love Rocky Erickson.
You know, talk about some of that
werewolves, Bigfoot, UFOs.
Fun music. It's always been around. It's always been inspiring to me. One of the things I like to do is, you know, throw on an album and just sit down and draw. You know, like Typo Negative's good for that too, and stuff like that. So yeah, I do love the horror punk, but it also, you know, is branched into this Southern Gothic folk or whatever they call it, dark folk, murder folk, dark country.
There's so many subjects, I can't keep up.
I wish horror punk was a little bit bigger of a genre. Local band Die Ghost. They're super fun. They're super fun. I remember seeing one of their shows. This is probably about 5-10 years ago. Didn't know who they were, went and checked out a show, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys are great, like, I want some of your merch. You know, when you guys play next? Like, oh, this is our last show, we're actually breaking up tonight. I'm like, what? But they came back just a couple years ago. They're doing good.
Nice. So why should people come to this shop in particular? There's so many tattoo shops out there, and I have so many friends that are like, oh, where should I go? I want to get a tattoo. And then 1,000 people chime in with 1,000 different...
There's no right or wrong to that answer. You go, you know, get in where you fit in. You know.
Don't be so humble. Go to Black Coffin Tattoo in St. Paul.
No, we've got 17 different tattooers, 2 piercers. I've got a number of probably a half a dozen to a dozen other artists from across the country that come in and guest spot on a semi-regular basis. There's someone with every style here, but we've been working on making this kind of a curated museum as well. So there's definitely some stuff to look at, which I think is what draws a lot of people in here. You know, I came up with the concept of Black Coffin. You know, I wanted to stay away from the zombies and the blood and the guts and the stereotypical horror tattoo shop.
Yeah.
So it was something a little more subtle. You know, we've got funeral directors that come through. You know, it's kind of got this little following where people in the death business just they want to check it out.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of my collection comes from former funeral homes.
Again, this is a local-centric podcast, and I really want to support local artists and talent that might get overlooked. And with so much out there, who do you go to, really? And I just want to say that Garrett and his crew are awesome, and they just don't do horror tattoos. So don't feel like you're going to come here, or you're not going to come here because I'm not into horror. No, they do everything, and I'll put up some art, a lot of variety. And I don't know, do you care to say anything else to help bring people to you? Or?
No.
No? All right. All right, man. Thanks.
Thanks, Don. It's good to see you.
Yep, you too.
So this is a former rental casket. For those of you that don't know the difference between a coffin and a casket, 4 sides versus 6. Toe pinchers are often referred to as coffins. These are caskets. But yeah, this is a former rental from 1957, I believe the year is. Donated by some of my friends. This is a old prayer altar. Catholic religions use these with a kneeler. I believe this predates World War II. I want to say, I looked it up, I want to say it was from the 30s, maybe 27. Yeah, just neat little fun stuff. We also host some artists, local artists. This gal, Alex Serene, does some beautiful cemetery photography. I ran into her at a haunted makers market up in White Bear Lake. Local gal's been making, her and her daughter make these spooky little dolls. We've been selling them for years. It's just a little fun thing for a local family. James over here, we've got the final chapter, vintage and modern horror, that we've been kind of working on. This is his personal collection. He's wanted to open a bookstore. I said, well, let's put one here in the shop. So yeah, he's having a lot of fun with that. Got an official little free library. I made this. Let's see, we can turn it around here.
Ooh, you lost somebody.
That's right. Yeah, this is a little dollhouse kit I bought from, put together from...
Oh wow, you made this by hand, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Hannibal, that's a Hannibal, lost Hannibal.
It's a doll kit from Hobby Lobby that I distressed and weathered, and this was it took me about a month to put all this shit together. It was fun. And then I lined the insides. You'll notice all the insides. It's Frankenstein, Dracula.
Oh, nice.
Dracula, Frankenstein, and
Stoker, Shelley.
Yeah. Just thought I'd give it a little home. It's fun.
Edgar sitting up on top.
Yeah. This is just a collection of some of our art. Some of it's painted by us, some of it's painted by our friends, some of it's painted by our idols, the people we look up to. It's quite an eclectic
It's beautiful.
collection, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a cheesy word, but dude, this is like beautiful.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces here from my buddy Joshua Carlton. You know, we also do some good throughout the year. On the first Saturday in December, we hold a Toys for Tots event and last year we raised in one day.
You guys do really well on those.
Yeah, we have fun with it. We did, I want to say it was 15,000 in one day. So we donate everything, tips 100% of everything. And then the next day we go shopping locally, you know, we go to Mills Fleet Farm, Hub Hobby, and you know, we go to, I think last year we went to Third Layer and bought a bunch of skateboards.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we have fun. I don't know if you know what $15,000 worth of toys looks like, but it's a lot.
It's awesome. And for a good cause.
Yeah. We have fun with it. I'm actually going to show you the bathroom too because it's pretty cool. Let me grab the key. I'll be right back. So
I'm going to U-turn.
yeah.
That way I don't. That is awesome. I love that. The HP love trap there. All right.
So you know, we've got a couple bathrooms here, and nobody understands when I say here you can use the cool bathroom. But when they use it, then they think, oh, I get why you call it the cool bathroom. Who gets a tour of a bathroom?
You don't go in the bathroom with me.
In this room, I wanted to kind of get all these elements. I kind of wanted like a flesh texture, right? A metal in the ceiling, a wood on the floors, metal on the walls. So I really try to curate every inch of this place.
You got something in there? Oh, no. You got to throw a snake in there, dude.
We had a tarantula, he died from
Oh,
COVID.
shit. From COVID? Well, Jesus.
Let's see, we can come back this way here. This is kind of interesting. Oh, see, yeah, she is doing it. Cool, yay, that's what I was talking about. So these are a bunch of funerary items. Up here is a sick call kit. Again, typically used by Catholic priests. That is a real human skull. So this is kind of interesting. When you get embalmed, this will go up into your artery, and it's where they suck the blood out and push the embalming fluid in. So innocent looking pieces enough right here. This goes in your mouth to keep your mouth shut after they embalm you. Whoops. These will keep your eyelids closed.
I didn't know they put those in there. That's interesting.
Oh shoot. These go into your gums and keep your mouth shut.
I
So you're not whispering.
sometimes.
Yeah, right.
More often than not.
Let's see here. What else we got? Moving on. Oh, well, this one's kind of interesting. This is a recent.
I love boxes.
Yeah, this is a recent acquisition. So sometimes when homeless people die, there's no one to pick up their remains. This was given to us under the understanding that we would put it on display and maybe educate people a little bit. This is from 2015.
Is it a John Doe? A Jane Doe, or?
Yeah, I think it is a Jane Doe. For sake of privacy, I won't.
No, of course. Yep.
But yeah, take care of your family. Let's see. What else we got here? So this is kind of a neat piece here. This wooden box looks innocent enough, but this is what they call a shipping casket. It doesn't matter how much money you have. when you die overseas, you die across the country, you need to go home. They put you in this little box. I stained it. So yeah, it's not very pretty looking, but yeah, no matter how much money you got, that's what you're coming home in. This coffin here, again, the coffin has 6 sides, right? Came from India. That's a former used coffin as well. The only one that isn't used is actually around the corner. Other than that, everything in here is got a body in it for the most part. I'd like to say it's the most haunted tattoo shop in Minnesota. There's definitely some weird shit that
I was gonna say, so what? Okay, now you sparked my
There's
interest.
definitely some
In
weird.
what ways? Just because you have items that.
I don't see it, but we have a lot of like motion sensors and stuff, like motion sensor hand washes and stuff. And late at night, you know, people don't really want to be here too late by themselves because those things turn off and on. I guess I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, it is kind of cold in here. I think I was standing in one of those spots.
This is the only one that's not used, but this is was made by a local crafter. So he would. There is a call for using things like this. For example, from what I understand, the Jewish culture cannot be buried with metal, so they would use wood pegs and wood glue. But he was going out of business and. Just happened to come by a place called Black Coffins. Say, hey, you want to buy some coffins? I said,
It was
sure.
destiny.
This is a mummified cat. Everything that we have here, I don't kill anything. I won't even kill a spider. But this was mummified, found in the back of a semi-trailer at the end of summer, and the weather just kind of perfectly mummified it. But you can see back here, it's got a broken leg. So we assume what happened was the poor guy had a broken leg and crawled up in the back of the semi and
Stayed there.
stayed there. Yeah, but it's not about morbidity for this stuff. It's about respecting these things, and realizing that we're all going to end there someday. It's kind of just a little reminder, I guess. I hate killing stuff, man. I don't like kill. I go fishing all the time, and I hate killing fish. But I can honor it, respect it, and maybe educate people a little bit. My favorite piece is over here, actually. You would never know what it is. But my mom gave me this.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's see.
This is a, I'm going to see if you know what this is.
I do not know what that is.
So this is what they call a mourning pin. If you look closely, you'll notice that it's made out of hair.
Oh.
What would happen is, let's say a young child met an early demise, the reverend's wife would take a snip of the hair and put it into a form of jewelry so the mother could have a piece of the child with them all the time. Mourning pin, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. Very big in
I've never
European
heard
cultures.
of it before.
Yeah.
What were they big in?
The European culture.
European culture?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you showed
Victorian,
it.
yeah. It's just kind of.
And the fact that your mom gave it to you, too.
Yeah. She embraces her son's weirdness.
That's good.
She gets
Good parent.
She gets me all the weird shit every year. Let's see. I don't know. We're not a small Anything else you want to see? Anything that draws your eye?
It all does, man. It's overwhelming. I mean, I could spend a day in here just staring at one thing. So any closing words for anybody here?
Closing words. Get in where you fit in.
Well, you can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
Read at your own risk of fucking brain rot. You know how like a good author can transport you into the heat of the moment, the eye of the storm, the heart of the battle. A good author, as you're reading their wonderful prose, you can smell the rain. You can taste the food that they're speaking about. Well, as they say in the city, forget about it. Because this book just, oh, you'll see. It's book review time, kiddies. I'm not really looking forward to this one. Let's just get this show on the road, shall we? Great movie. This is the novelization, okay? I warned you not to go out tonight. And I'm about to warn you not to read this book. It's got back cover, front cover, pages, writing in it. So this novelization is based on William Lustig's MANIAC movie by Stephanie Borgoin. I might have mispronounced that, but that's okay. The book cover looks cool, right? So let's read the back of this and see what you're getting involved with. One of the most legendary serial killer movie has been officially novelized for the very first time. Hang on a second, let me try. One of the most legendary serial killer movie has been officially... That's where we're starting with this fucking thing. That's sentence one, all right? Let's continue on. Gory, sticky, creepy, with a dry humor, MANIAC is an invitation into 80s New York madness, which follows a disreputable man, Frank Zito, that we challenge you to meet, with an original foreword by director William Lustig. Sorry, Billy. I don't know why you got... Okay, so anyway, it's poorly written. The grammatical errors up the wazoo, spelling errors, shit that doesn't make sense because it's poorly written. It's really short, adds absolutely nothing to the movie. In fact, it detracts so much from the movie. If this thing wasn't, what is this, 3 pages long, 131 pages? Holy Christ. Anyway, this thing is not a recommendation. I mean, it's cool to have if you're a collector to have on it. I mean, it looks good up on your shelf, but this thing's getting donated, folks. This movie, what makes this movie so good outside of the cast is the elements of that dirty, greasy, slimy, sleazy 1980s New York that you grew up with. You loved in movies like Slime City, Maniac Cop, Maniac, and, you know, there's a million of them. And there's none of that in here. There's no sense of environment. The dialogue is horse shit. You know what? I'm not going to waste your time with this review. Don't read it. Well, read it if you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I'm not recommending this fucking thing. But I will read chapter 1 for you so you can get a taste of it. And if something doesn't read right, it's not because I'm an idiot. I promise you, or I am an idiot, but I'm not this much of an idiot, okay? So let's give it a whirl, okay? William Lustig's MANIAC. All right. The official novelization. I'm not going to read the foreword. Chapter 1, the murderous prologue, okay? On a dune overlooking one of many beaches around New York City, public binoculars allow you to admire the landscape and the waves of the rising tide. Sounds like we're off to a good start so far, huh? And don't get your hopes up. Day is breaking and a cold breeze is caressing the horizon. A gloved hand slips a quarter into the slot and then lowers the lever to engage the mechanism. Slowly, the silhouette of a man begins to examine the seemingly deserted area, stopping on a couple below, sleeping under a thick blanket. Next to them, a wood fire is throwing off its last embers. At this hour, they are the only two people on this beach. The cries of the seagulls, the sounds of the waves, and the morning chill wake them. The night before, they made love, not once, but twice. Very nice. Wrapped up in the thick... I added that. That's not in the book, okay? I'm actually adding shit to this. I shouldn't, because I want you to know how bullshit it is. They were wrapped up in a thick blanket covering them. The nighttime chill has not yet set in, and they have taken care to light a wood fire that adds to the romantic ambiance of this place. Yeah, New York Beach. Flames are reflected in the passion-filled eyes of these two lovers. At this time of year, the beaches of the Big Apple are mostly deserted, as they have taken care to avoid those adjoining amusement parks such as Coney Island. The young woman finally addresses Steve, her companion. "It's starting to get cold, darling." Steve, still sleepy, does not react. "The fire's going out. Why don't you go get some wood?" Yeah, go get some wood. "I'm too tired to." Spelled wrong, by the way. The woman shivers, then looks at him pleadingly. "Well, it's true that it's starting to freeze up." He gives in, yawning. "I'll go." He looks around. Steve hesitates for a moment because they forgot to take a thermos of hot coffee with them. So he wonders if he should take his car to the nearest town to get some breakfast, but he fears that his girlfriend will be frozen to death when he returns. Without hesitation, lighting a fire becomes the most urgent task. He gets up and heads for the dunes to gather branches and leaves. Meanwhile, yeah, because there's a shit ton of leaves in the dunes of the Cape. Meanwhile, his companion rolls up under the blanket and falls back to sleep. "Thank you, darling," she mumbles. A few seconds go by. Then a figure approaches, quite large and dark. It emerges from the dunes. It's Paul Atreides. Oozle, to some. The cold sand crunches under the reinforced sole of his boots. The young woman keeps her eyes closed. Quickly, the shadow looms over her, looks at her for a moment, leans over, and a gloved hand caresses her hair. The seagulls circling above the scene scream, accompanying the rise of an icy suspense, increasingly tense as the atmosphere grows heavier. Their hoarse and mocking cries intensify to the point of hiding the young woman's grasp of terror, who suddenly opens her eyes and discovers her mystery counterpart. She half sits up to look at the stranger. He draws a blade, and without further ado slits her throat. Without further ado. It's a game show host, you know. It's like, "Hey, welcome to the dunes of the Cape. Here's a knife in your throat." The victim's screams of terror turn into bloodied gargling. Having slit her throat, he begins to delicately cut into the top of her forehead, removing her hair, which he takes care not to damage. Although dead, the young woman's limbs are still twitching. As he continues without the slightest hesitation, the victim's skull begins to appear. It glistens with the sticky liquid that covers it. During the final convulsions, the stranger completes his task of retrieving the scalp, which he wipes carefully before wrapping it in a bag prepared for such the occasion. The precision of his movements suggests that this is not the first time he has committed such an act. The cuts are straightforward, and he shows no uncertainty in his execution of this horrific deed. Meanwhile, Steve, his arms laden with wood, returns to camp. He hasn't noticed anything because of the ambient noise of the waves and the seagulls. Oh, how beautiful. When he approaches, the form oh, by the way, okay, yeah, there's a little bit of atmosphere here, but that all disappears by the time you get to chapter 2. Don't think I'm bullshitting you on this, folks. When he approaches the form curled up under the blanket, what he believes to be his sleeping girlfriend, the same silhouette rises up behind him. A tourniquet-like Garrett, whose steel cable bites deep into the flesh of his neck, tightens around his throat. The pain is so horrible that he is as if That's what it says. I can't. The pain is so horrible that he is as if anesthetized. He drops his bundles of wood, blood spurts out in long, abundant jets, and he is lifted off the ground to the point that his feet no longer touch the sand. He waves his arms and tries in vain to undo this bond that is causing him mortal convulsions, his fingers unable to slip under the noose to pull it away, frantically claw at his white skin. The helpless young man struggles, grasping even more weakly, while the black-headed gulls cry endlessly above their heads. After a final jolt, his hands fall back along his inanimate body, and death welcomes him into its arms. No sooner has he done than the... This is a hard goddamn book to read, all right? It's not me, I promise you. No sooner has he's done than the I'm just going to skip to the next goddamn sentence because that one doesn't make any sense. He leaves without looking back, abandoning it to the cries of the seagulls, the only murder witnesses. Frank Zito jolts awake in bed, the sheets and pillows soaked, his face covered in sweat. Sweat is beating on his mustache. Sweat, sweat, sweat. There's a lot of sweat going on. He is surrounded by total silence, the sinister bareness of the room with its leprous walls. I hate those leprous walls, Jesus Christ. Oh, he gasps, terrified. Oh no! His gaze is haunted, his eyes are wild. He breathes in long gasps to try to regain his composure. Did he dream? Or rather nightmare that barbaric double scene on the beach? No. A female mannequin lies at his side. Her face is streaked with blood, which cascades from her hair held in place by a nail. It was so... Did he really scalp this young woman on the sand? Everything leads him to believe so. It was so real. His gaze falls on the sordid bedroom with a tiny adjoining bedroom, in the darkness sparsely pierced by the glow of tiny light bulbs and candles that frame the old portrait of his beloved mother, Carmen Zito. Run-ons, anyone? Jesus Christ, I need a yoo-hoo. All right, let me just read. Hang on a second. Everywhere dolls are placed on shelves and furniture. All these dolls, devoid of any clothing, do not have the slightest trace of hair. For Frank Zito, they evoke the passion of his beloved mother who collected them, a passion also shared by his older sister Mona, for whom he has always felt fierce hatred and jealousy. The atmosphere is barely illuminated by the gloomy crackle of a television. There is no window, nor an opening to the outside. The walls covered with... Well, how the fuck does he get in and out of his apartment then? No windows or no openings to the outside? Whatever. The walls covered with a greenish goose poo colored paint. Goose poo colored paint. I kind of like that. I might use that later. I'm going to write that down. Perfectly reflect the state of mind of its occupant struggling with his demons. Nothing brightens up these places where sinister drawings and paintings hang on the walls. Death reigns supreme as Frank Zito's permanent roommate. He sits up with difficulty. He examines his calloused hands for any trace of hemoglobin. Yeah, we always do that, right? But sees nothing, which doesn't mean that he hasn't committed any murderous acts, because he could very well have cleaned them up when he got home. Yes, of course, I could have. Then he staggers toward the tiny bathroom where the sink is overlooked by a mirror. Frank takes off his sweat-soaked undershirt and starts to wash himself. Oh, this is a sexy moment. Phew, I'm getting sweaty. Ugh. As he does this, his hands come... that one's my fault. As he does so, his hands come into contact with deep scars and burns that streak his torso. Countless memories of the past come flooding back. Memories of a childhood spent alongside his beloved yet so cruel mother and his sister Mona. Actually, chapter 1 wasn't as bad as I said it was, but trust me, some of this shit is unreadable, okay? Read at your own discretion. Oh, hi. But you don't have to take my word for it. Bow, bow. So, I gotta end this so I can go get some kitty litter. You know what I'm saying? Kitty litter for the cats. Whoa. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and please, for crying out loud, send me some photos of your Halloween outfits. The outside of your house is decorated for Halloween. The inside of your house is decorated for Halloween. I want to see your spooky, scary stuff. Tell me your stories. Tell me if anything wild or crazy happened on a Halloween night in the past, or even, I don't know, maybe you're a psychic. You know what's going to happen on this upcoming Halloween. Regardless, just send me some stuff, okay? From beyondthelake@gmail.com.